Now on WWAY News at 11, I'm Kylie Jones, live in Carolina Beach, where a man has reportedly drowned. I'll have more for you coming up. I'm going to take you around to the front of this neighborhood. Again, this is the farm at Brunswick in Carolina Shores, and these neighbors are kind of just milling around. You look up right here, you're looking at a roof that is just completely demolished on this side. The search for what the New Hanover County Sheriff's Office calls a violent suspect ended right here behind me. Neighbors who heard it all unfold say it happened in just seconds. There's games, there's food, everything you could expect from the fair. I've been trying out a couple games here, and I'm gonna test them out for you, see how they are. So I'm going for that Brady jersey up there. Law enforcement officers found Smith holding a woman at gunpoint in a car back behind several businesses here on West Broad Street. Overpasses like this one on the bridges, especially for your morning commute tomorrow morning. Make sure you go extra slow, be careful, because those are the places that will see some slick spots, if any at all. One doctor here in Wilmington says he knows these strict guidelines can be frustrating for everyone, but he says if we want the virus to stop spreading, it all starts by staying right here at home. Actually, we're getting one of those gusts of wind right now where the wind really picks up and the rain just comes down on you. We got here a little while ago, like I said. The drive down here was not too bad at first, but conditions are getting worse.
You're so grateful for the help, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
The hurt of losing your home not once, but twice.
I told everybody I had hurricane PTSD, and I was joking, but I didn't know it was really true.
First Matthew, then Florence.
When I would walk in before, it was depressing.
Embarrassing, really.
It was embarrassing for my children.
Because Sandra Settle knew she and her family may not be able to stay. Her home destroyed twice. The first time around,
FEMA gave us $126 for cleanup. That was it.
Settle says they had to make the repairs out of their own pockets. Then after Florence, Governor Roy Cooper says the state tried to get as much federal funding as we could.
But we know that there are a lot of holes in those programs, and so putting together Rebuild NC helped us plug some of those holes.
Cooper says the focus is now on funding for long-term recovery for families like the Settles.
You've got to be smarter about how you rebuild, and that's what they have done with this. And if we can get people back into their own homes, we want to.
Settle says they never would have been able to make the repairs without Rebuild NC.
There's only so many home renovations you can do when you don't have the money to do them.
From walking in to a feeling of embarrassment to now,
like Santa Claus has been to town.
Settle feels like she can finally live again.
There couldn't have been a better Christmas present for my family. It's just incredible.
It's something drivers couldn't even believe with their own eyes last night as they watched a string of patrol cars trailing the Bobcat tractor. Officials say he led them on the chase for about an hour. Take a look at this viewer video.
What is that?
It's something you have to see to believe.
They're chasing him. They're chasing him. It's got to be a chase.
Not exactly what you would call a high-speed chase.
They're chasing down this guy. Look at him.
The getaway vehicle? A Bobcat tractor making its way slowly but surely through Wilmington, much to everyone's surprise.
No, this was a first for us.
Lieutenant Jerry Brewer with the New Hanover County Sheriff's Office says Adarius Walker led them on the slow-speed chase. Getting up to 5 miles an hour at times, the hour-long chase came to a slow end on Cardinal Drive.
Once we started, it had tracks, so using spike strips was not going to be an option. You can't pit that type of equipment.
It's not your everyday traffic stop, so law enforcement had to get creative.
The first option was let it run out of gas. Once we saw that was going on for some time and that wasn't really a good option.
Past College Road, MLK Boulevard, and down Market Street, Walker went. Drivers waiting to see what happened next.
Oh, it's definitely coming.
Here he comes. Finally, Brewer says they saw their opening.
We then saw an opportunity when he turned off of Market on the Cardinal. There was an issue with the track that was kind of keeping him stalled for a second. That's when we were able to pepper spray him and get him stopped.
All because of patience and restraint.
It is humorous to see on there, and a lot of people, notice that. But we were lucky that, it was a learning lesson for us. It's something new we hadn't seen before. But we were able to get that young man into custody without being hurt, and no one else was hurt.
We landed in Miami and there was nothing. There was no screening at all. There wasn't anybody taking temperatures. There wasn't, literally nothing.
Was not checked for temperature, asked no question. It's about coronavirus.
Wilmington residents among the thousands quarantined in Peru. When they finally landed back on U.S. soil, they were appalled.
I'm blown away at how little the United States is honestly doing to prevent the spread of the virus.
During Helen Grubb and her husband's 2-week quarantine, she says the way Peru looked in comparison to the U.S. is like night and day.
They had police and military policing the streets, and they would stop you and ask you, what you were out for.
Grubb says they were only allowed out for essential groceries, the pharmacy, and medical emergencies.
I stepped outside of our hotel to get just some fresh air one day, and the police officers yelled at me to go back inside.
If you were out, every single person had to wear a mask.
Police will stop you if you don't, and they'll ask you, mascarilla, mascarilla.
It was no nonsense.
Infectious disease specialist Dr. Paul Kamitska says in other countries, just the masks can make a difference.
Even though a mask may have limited effectiveness in terms of protecting you from someone else, it will protect them from you.
Kamitska says we'd be protecting others from ourselves.
Even though the evidence for reducing your chance of getting it from someone else who doesn't have a mask is more limited, at least we're protecting them from us.
I felt safer in Peru than I do in the United States.